Everyone, Scuba here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about Seal Rock. This is a controversial map in the Final Fantasy XIV Frontline PvP community, which is, I guess, a bit of a niche, but there's not a lot of PvP information about 14 because it's not really the game's most popular aspect. However, I think it is probably one of the game's best features. It's just underutilized by the community at large. I don't really think that that's necessarily like Square Enix's fault or anything. I think it's just not something that people really talk about very much. It's not very popular in streaming. It's mostly like the game is mostly about raiding, so people don't really pay that much attention to PvP, which leads to a lot of frustration in Frontline. And it's mostly because there's not a lot of information out there, and most people don't actually seek out information, even if there was. So I want to go over a couple of scenarios and an explanation about Seal Rock and why it is one of the most hated maps in the Frontline community. A lot of people will still prefer this one over something like Warcore, but I think that's just mostly because Warcore is new, and the nodes are not very balanced in that game mode just yet. They're still trying to dial it in, and so far it is not correct. So they'll probably keep workshopping that one, but today we're going to talk about Seal Rock. And specifically, I'm going to talk to you guys about why North Spawn is the worst spawn possible. Basically, if you get North Spawn, the only way that you can win is through kills. You're pretty much not going to win through flags, and I'll go over why that is. So on this map, I have shown you basically where your team is allowed to be and all of the nodes that spawn within your territory. So to determine where the team is allowed to be, I've basically just drawn a straight line from base to the middle of the map where there is a node here, and I've done that for all three teams. And then from there, I've continued an imaginary line straight across to divide the map into thirds. This is effectively where you're allowed to go. So why that is if red team is trying to go to this node and blue team is trying to go to this node, these are approximately the same distance from each other. So you're going to be fighting on an even footing if you're contesting relatively over here. It's a little bit more in favor of blue, but not enough to really matter. The nodes that are contestable, I've put in purple because these are the ones that you're most likely to contest and keep if you are trying to fight for them. Otherwise, even if, say, you're red team and you go all the way over here and you take this one, blue is going to take it back immediately, and there's not really anything that you're going to gain by doing that because you're going to be overextending into their territory, and eventually they're going to respawn and pick you off. So these are really not nodes that you have any claim over. If you're red, you might contest them temporarily, but you're never going to hold them long term unless yellow is over here pressuring as well, which is, you know, situational. And yeah. So red, obviously, if you count the nodes, they have one node here and one node here in their territory, and those are the ones that basically they're pretty much guaranteed to get. They have a path up to here for red, and they have a straight shot here for their node there. And then realistically, like, yellow is still going to contest you for this one because it's still pretty close for them. It's just red's got to have something. Really, if they wanted to give red a fighting chance at this game, they need to put like a flag here or like, I don't know, maybe over here or possibly over here, just to give them a little something extra. Because as you can see, blue has this one that's safe deep in their territory. So it's like, why wouldn't red have a similar thing? Like, this one is blue's, so that's kind of the same as this one. So why does blue have that and red doesn't have anything here? Just kind of makes sense. So basically, blue has 1, 2, 3, 4 free nodes that are deep in their territory that they can pretty much get 100% claim on. A lot of times, red will come over and fight for this one, but it really doesn't work out because if red is coming down this way and they're trying to go there, then yellow is just going to cut across and pinch them. So when they retreat, they're basically just going to die. So red really has no business contesting this. Even if they go like this, they're going to come up this ramp, and then they're going to be bottlenecked here, where blue is just going to come straight up, and they're going to have respawn advantage. So there's no contesting this in real life. At best, you're just going to trade kills for like 50-50, and it's better to get kills than it is to die. So actually, I think it might be equal in this game mode. I think it's like +5 -5 or +10 -10. So yellow also has 1, 2, 3, 4. This one looks like it is near the middle, but realistically, there's this big bottleneck that goes up this ramp. So they have an elevation advantage when sniping mid, and also in order for anyone to contest them, they would have to basically, if you're blue, you're going to come all the way up around and you're going to go here, but yellow has respawn advantage, so they're going to cut you off, or they can cut you off here, which is what they should be doing, so that they can catch you on the retreat, or they're going to catch people that are straggling and then pinch you right there. So that's a really tough node for blue to contest, and if you're red, same story, you're just going to cut around here, but they're just going to be standing here, free firing on you while you're running up the ramp, or they're already going to be here and they're going to just be sniping down on you where they have terrain advantage. So this is really an uncontestable node that just belongs to yellow automatically. And then if you're red, you might try and contest this, but again, yellow just has a much quicker path to get here. So they're going to be able to force red off eventually. Even this node, it's in yellow's territory, technically. So it's an easier path for them to get to. Red can kind of take the same way. But if red is coming through, say they're capturing their node and they're over here, blue can just come up from behind and hit red. So even if red is contesting, blue is uncontested, so they can just push up and pinch red. So this whole map is kind of designed so if red tries to do anything, like say red wants to contest this, they have to go all the way around like that, right? So if red wants to contest there, yellow is free. Yellow can just come around and snipe them from here and just pick off any stragglers there. Yellow is not going to try and take this flag. They shouldn't. But in the meantime, blue can just come up, take the shortcut through this map, and they have a much cleaner claim to this flag because there's a cliff here. So yellow can't just go like this and like harass blue. So blue, even if yellow for some reason is over here, blue can just retreat back the way they came safely. So realistically, this belongs to blue as well, because if red comes here, yellow is going to harass them. The whole game is designed for red to get 2v1'd the whole match. If they're contesting here, blue is of course going to be here. And then while yellow has nothing else to do, they're just going to stand here and they're just going to stop both teams from capturing this flag. That's all they're going to do. And then while both teams are busy, while red and blue are busy there, yellow can just take their free nodes the whole time and even rotate upward to take this one if that spawns. So red just, this one is so hard to defend because if you're yellow and you're attacking this and then you're red, you have to kind of go here to defend it. But then in the meantime, blue is free, so they can just come up this way. And then all of a sudden it's a three-way fight and nobody's getting this node. And then yellow can't kill blue from here. So blue is pretty safe. And then if red turns to attack blue, they can just walk away. So realistically, there's nothing you can do about this if you're red. You just have to 2v1 until they go away or until something else spawns, until they decide to fight each other. The best thing you can hope for is like this map, this spawns, and they both go and fight over it. But basically, that just means that you can come down through here and maybe get a pinch on yellow, or you can come through... not that one. You go through here and hit blue. But you can't attack this if you're red. You can't attack this if you're red. You can attack this if they're busy here, but this is the most three-way fighty area of the map, so you're probably not going to keep the node for very long. So you really have to focus on when they're fighting, like if blue and yellow are fighting over here, you have to basically pick which team you want to fight. The easiest pinch is on blue, and attack them like that, because if you go for yellow, you're walking right in front of their respawn, and you're going to die. So you really only can pinch blue. So this game is basically designed so that red does not have multiple options at any given point, because they're basically just going to be pinched. But because like even if red comes down through here to attack, blue is already walking in this direction. So the only way for red to do this is to go through like this and then just keep going around. Otherwise, if they turn around and go this way, they're going to conflict with red there. So the amount of like retreat options and attack options are not great. So if you're red and you're going through like to pinch blue, now say you've done it and you are on the retreat, like yellow could just chase you off at the same time. Like yellow could still fight you here and you'd still lose people. So just like the whole map is designed to just be like, red is cursed, you know? Red probably wins like 10% of the games on this map. And this is why. Because they have to run extra far. All of the nodes that you would think might belong to them actually don't belong to them. Like these three, you would think, hey, they're pretty close to red. Red just goes here, red just goes here, red just goes here. But this is the same distance for yellow. This is the same distance for blue. And this is the same distance for blue. And then meanwhile, yellow can pretty much safely interact with the rest of the map while you're busy. Like, there's so many games where red will just run straight down at the beginning and they'll try and fight over this. And blue will run straight up at the beginning and they'll fight over this. And then yellow will come over here and just pot shot both of these guys. And then this is just a long, drawn-out fight, and that drawing out this fight only benefits blue or yellow. Because they can just take their free stuff at the same time. But unless... Oops. All right. Unless red gets like a spawn here or a spawn here, that opener is just a fail. Like, red's really never going to keep this because blue just has too many advantages. And usually what happens is red doesn't fight in any way that makes sense, and they'll try and come up here because blue is going to be right here. And they'll see blue first before this spawns, so they'll keep pushing up, and then they'll fight right there. And then when they do that, yellow just comes around and pinches them. That happens like 7 out of 10 games as the opener. Then the next best opener for red is to come over here and just kind of like hide here and hope that this spawns or mid spawns. And if they can, they'll just try and take that. While blue is just like, where's red at? But then if this does spawn, or if this one spawns, then blue's like, oh, where's red? And then they go, oh, okay, they're going after this one. Boop. And they're going to get you. Like, the whole map is just screw you to red. There's like no tactical advantage for being north spawn here. You have nothing to really go off of. Like, there should really be a node in this water or back here or like even here. Something. There needs to be 2 more nodes over here that belong to red, like specifically to balance the map. Because as it is, there's nothing that red has any business really attacking. Like, even if they go here and take this one, which is like the closest, most likely one for them to get, yellow just has like so many options. They can go around here, they can go around here, they can go around here if they want to, although that one's not so good. And then if they're losing, they can just retreat up the ramp where there might be a node, or they can run around here where they have line of sight, or they can, they can hide over here where they have line of sight. The only way that yellow loses this is if somehow blue is like, I'm going to go through here and pinch yellow. But then if blue is here pinching yellow, then they have to face red next. So they'd have to keep going. Or they'd have to like try and capture this node and defend it while they're being sandwiched by yellow and red. So that's a terrible angle for blue to take. The only logical angle for blue to take is this. Otherwise, they have to go through here, fight yellow, then fight red, and then also make an escape. While red is like fighting them this whole way. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a bad idea. If you're blue, you basically just come up here and you just shoot red until they start showing up again, and then you just back off. So, I don't know. I hope that explains basically how this map works and why red spawn is so imbalanced, and basically why if you get red, you just can't expect to win. You just have to hope that yellow and blue decide to fight each other more often so that you can maybe do an unexpected pinch. But every pinch that you have an opportunity to go for is going to be way out of your range. Or like way out of your range. And it just doesn't really work for red. Red has to run a mile if they want to do anything. Meanwhile, blue and yellow are more likely to push upwards because they have so much free time. If they're both pushed up and red can't do anything, then that just gives them the opportunity to take every map, like let their less talented PvPers, let's say, go take all of the free flags while they just fight. Like, all red and yellow has to do is walk up here and just hold these lines. They don't even have to fight each other, and then just take all of their free stuff, and they'll just coin flip first or second. And that coin flip would most likely go to blue because they have all these contestable nodes that are just going to be going to them. So if you get Seal Rock, basically if you get blue, you probably have like a 60% chance to win. And then if you're yellow, you probably have like a 30% chance. And then if you're red, you probably have like a 10% chance. So the map itself just dictates who wins like 90% of the time. Unless you have like the Avengers on one team. And then it's just like, it doesn't matter because you just have like a 100% chance to win because you just have people that are doing coordinated attacks, they're pocketing each other, stuff like that. So that is Seal Rock and why it sucks in a nutshell. I hope that all makes sense. And you can think about all of the PvP maps this way, about where you're allowed to be, and hopefully you can start thinking about what angles make sense, because if you basically are trying to pinch somebody where the other team is going to get respawn advantage on you, you're going to eventually die and bleed out and lose all of the points that you just gained by killing people. So you have to be tactical about, what your angle of approach is and what your retreat path is going to be so that you can get the kills without dying and losing all of the points.